You know how I feel.
5, 6, 7, 8, and I'll bring this down. I'll bring this over. See what we got here. Hello. Okay. Sweet. Okay, cool. Welcome everybody. Thank you for joining me tonight. Claire's here. K Swift is here. Shayna, I think. Mimi is here. Anastasia just chimed in. I'm pretty sure. If I ever call out the wrong name, just let me know. Learning handles is a little tricky, and I understand why you have them. If you haven't taken class in a little bit, you might not know. It's not a big deal, but I started streaming to Facebook. I've always streamed to the Facebook page, and I've always streamed to my profile page, but I started for some reason, I don't really even know why I did this, honestly, but I started for some reason to, there we go, okay. Yeah, sort of okay. Sort of, all right, okay. So I started on the, I started posting to the Facebook group page, and I really just did it just to have one more place that it could catch people's attention. And but if you were on a group, and it may be true of the Facebook page too, my chat service will not let you, your profile and your name will not show up in the video display. And so if you want that to happen, you will click this link that I'm about to put in there. And that's essentially like giving them permission to show your profile page. Don't have to do it. It would just be like if you just want to be seen or whatever. So anyway, if you're just joining us, I am working my way up to starting more and more on time, and I'm happy that we started more or less 7:05, 7:06, and so I'm going to try to get that work that. Tessa, hey, sweet, happy Monday. So I want to eventually get that up to closer and closer to 7 o'clock, but I know some people are just used to me starting late, and so I want to be a little bit better about that. The Monday classes are tended to be maybe the more advanced classes, but they're definitely the more Maidan myth-oriented. And for those of you that don't know, the Maidan for me is a myth, a set of myths and stories that I utilize to help people find I don't want to get too flowery, but to find the pasture I'm trying to send them to find the forest or to find the sky or whatever. And sometimes when you're teaching movement, using metaphor can get you a lot further than being super technical. And we all have different ways that we like to be reached. I prefer more metaphorical movement. So like, if you tell me to move like sea kelp, or you tell me to move, so thanks for doing it, move like something, that's a little bit easier for me. And then when I went out on the road, or when I first started when I first started hooping, these stories kind of came to my mind, and I would share them with my friends, and they always dug them. Hey, Kelly. They seemed to dig them. And then when I went to start teaching HoopPath out, or especially the classes, my friend Vivian, Spiral, who's the inspiration for Kaya, she told me I should include the stories. And so one of the things that I did was in the stories, there were some really important women that helped me in my hoop journey, even if it was just brief. But they contributed and helped me kind of, achieve whatever I ended up achieving. And so those women were, some of them, their names are sort of honored by being part of the story. And Saza, hey Amber, Saza the Illuminated is just one of those characters, and her actually, if you've ever seen The Hooping Life, Sass is the inspiration for Saza the Illuminated. Now, I don't know Sass that well. We have this bond because of the documentary, and then we've hung out a few times, but I don't know her that well. So the character of Saza is not really based on anything about her other than Saza is very strong and Saza is very spiritual. But that's about it. And where Saza comes into our story is the first woman to ever declare herself Maidan is a woman named Anna, who is based on Anna, Hoopalicious. And then she, in her journey, meets this woman named Saza the Illuminated, who's also on a journey. Saza, as you can see in the picture, is of African descent. She has this big, beautiful afro, and what I really enjoyed, I'll go ahead and maybe you can see it off to my right there, is this image is exactly the way I've always seen the story of Saza the Illuminated, because she's given that name by Anna when they meet, because Anna kind of falls asleep listening to her sing these beautiful songs over a river. And when she wakes up, she sees kind of what you see off of my left shoulder, here, and she calls her the Illuminated. Now, Saza goes on to become her big sister. And Saza is from a group, I mean, spoiler alert, she's basically a descendant of a type of witch, but she didn't call them that, didn't believe it that way, but that's probably the term we would give them. And so she comes from this kind of shamanistic tradition and is extremely wise. And like Anna, has also lost her mother in the process, like to death. So that's where we're going to start tonight. So when I say that Saza is going to teach balance tonight, what I'm asking you to do is to see if you can step into the story. You can be Saza, you can be her hoop, you can be someone watching, you can be someone she later taught, or you can just watch it like it's a movie. But that's what we're talking about, is that we're talking that if this character was going to teach you balance, how would she teach it? And I'm just doing my best impression of her based on character development, honestly. So the playlist tonight is already put together and is on SoundCloud. And I just realized I need to update it. And so I'll make the playlist, there we go. I'll make the playlist public as soon as class is over. Oh, one more thing. We are, shucks, we're not doing good on time. Okay, so one more thing. So we are doing a swap 7. We're going to start it Monday. Okay, so a week from today, we'll go into some details about that later. Okay, I want to just go ahead and jump straight in. And this is essentially going to be, a tech class. Okay, sweet, everybody's here. Nice. Okay, yep. Okay. Okay, good. Sorry, I gotta make one quick change here. That's perfect. And perfect. Okay, guys, thank you for that. I just realized I forgot to hang a camera tonight. We're gonna have one weird angle, guys. Sorry. I don't know what to do. Okay. Hey, Sharon. All right, let's get going here. Audible breath in. Keep me posted on music levels and mic levels. I think I've just about got all this dialed in, but you can always let me know. It's really easy to turn things up, turn things down. Audible breath in. Core of Saza's belief system was in the belief that there was a balance of life, and that balance might shift one way or the other, but that over time that there was a natural balance. And Saza's belief was that through contemplation and reflection, through meditation, through movement, through dance, through communication with animals and humans, that she could find her balance. Saza believed in the importance of setting aside time to find that balance. Audible breath in. If you want to go all in and be with Saza as your teacher or as you, then you would breathe into the idea that you are seeking balance. Balance in all things. Balance in your emotions, balance in your desires, balance with your thoughts, and for Saza, most importantly, balance with your actions. Audible breath in. Audible breath in. Open, open, open. Audible breath in. Okay, just gonna keep rolling right along here. Oops, I forgot to transition. Oh, this is getting frustrating. Okay, tonight we're going to be talking a little bit about balance. There we go. But we're going to start with balancing us. And there's a story that always stuck with Saza that her great-grandmother would tell her. And it was a story about her great-grandmother who had one night reached up to to the moon and become a tree. And that story always stuck with young Saza, reaching up and becoming a tree. And from the time she was a little girl, she always thought of reaching up as also reaching down. That as her great-great-great-grandmother had reached up to the moon, her feet reached down to the center of the earth. And so when Saza would sway and she would move and she would seek physical balance, she would imagine that her foot, the standing foot, was reaching all the way down into the ground. Tonight we're going to start with physical balances and balance poses. Some of you are a lot better at this than I am. But the foot's not going to clench the ground. The foot's going to sit up on top of the ground. And it's going to remain supple. It's going to remain soft and movable there. But most importantly, it's going to remain relaxed. This is something that I learned in Tai Chi, and it's hard to just tell your foot to relax, but when your foot starts to move around a lot and you get those shakes, that's your body trying to find balance. And truthfully, and maybe even ironically, sometimes that wiggling is the reason you can't find the balance. That as you're wiggling to find it, that wiggle is keeping you from finding it. So in Tai Chi, my teacher would tell us to relax the feet. If you want to get a good laugh, you can watch me try to balance forward. But I know many of you are really good at this. Saza believed in a sturdy balance, achieving a sturdy balance. And so she sort of thought of a balance as sturdy as how it could tolerate movement above the root. And so to create more sturdy balance, we move the hands, we move the feet. Audible breath in. Again, we're using the idea that our standing foot is rooting down into the ground. Okay. If you're ready, you can grab your hoops now. We're going to start off with point technique. Balance and finding it is a skill that is developed patiently. We are going to get into hoop balances. That's the bulk of what we're working on tonight. But whether it's hoop balance or the balance of you, it's a patient and long chapter. If you have the knees for it, you can bounce while on a balance to really strengthen that leg. Things I'm doing with my off foot that kind of helps develop a sturdy balance is I'm doing something called drawing. And drawing is when I imagine I'm grabbing like some colored sand or something, and I'm going to hold it in my foot, and then I'm going to draw while releasing that sand in some sort of image, right? And so if I'm in point technique, I can bring that foot up, draw it way up here, draw around me. And this is called developing a sturdy balance. This is what we mean by that. Okay, so we're going to go super old school right here. I'll explain this first. We're going to go super old school. This used to be something that we would do as a technique in the HoopPath. Oh, I just realized my camera's a little too close here. Okay. All right, so anyway, this is a technique what we used to do in the HoopPath. And what you're going to do is we're going to start off waist hooping. So let's go ahead and throw the hoops on the waist anywhere, you know, or any pace or any direction, doesn't matter. And just kind of warm up and shake the hands and whatever you need to do. Actually, I'll give you like a minute to music, and then we'll get into the bulk of this. Oh, that's weird. Okay. Huh. Oh, by the way, if you're watching on Facebook, let me know if the quality has gotten worse the last couple of weeks. The YouTube quality has gone up, but I'm worried the Facebook quality's gone down. So anyway, we're on the waist. All the more reason to check out YouTube. Nobody's complaining about YouTube and Twitch. Now, there's a couple of things of balance that we can go ahead and talk about right now. Well, I promise we're going to get into hoop balance, but just to balance you. Helps if you have a mirror, helps if you have video, but to not lean too forward, to not lean too back. Almost nobody has the problem of leaning too far back, but almost a lot of people, myself included, sometimes lean too forward. So if you can feel that sort of front and back, what we call the day and night balance between your feet, kind of where your feet are. Haven't already, you can reverse the hoop, pick up both currents. When Saza was inside the hoop, she felt as if it was wrapping her, right? Wrapping her with energy or, you know, good feeling or nutrients or whatever positive connotation you have. There's wrapping and then unwrapping, or wrapping one way and then wrapping the other way. And we talked about this last week about standing up as you want to be and letting the hoop wrap that posture and develop support there. Now this is where it's going to get a little tricky. And this is old school. But I really do think that this has a great health benefit. And it's totally something that I got from the Saza story. But if I start to balance on one leg while hooping, I develop an even sturdier balance. Because if I can do this, then balancing without a hoop is super easy. And then when I'm ready, I'll switch feet, and just as Saza's great-great-great-great-great-great-grandmother did, that foot is going to root all the way to the ground. My hand's going to reach up. So I'm coming up. It's always important with these balances to extend, like to push down with the foot and up with the body. And I can draw if I want to. Oh, sweet, I'm glad you got a new hoop, Jim. I love mine. And then I'm going to switch legs. I don't know if Mimi's still watching. She's the Anastasia. This was probably the entire weekend of this. But once you get there, you can start to move your hands in different postures and formations across. If you bought the DVD, this is just about 45 minutes of this. If you're new to this and you're struggling, the reason I wanted to pull this out is this is the first time that we can utilize our gaze to help us focus. To help us balance. And so what you do, it's incredibly hard to do this stuff blindfolded because you'll realize that we use our eyes, obviously, to help us balance. And so wherever room you're in, you can even use the TV if you want to, if that's how you're watching me tonight. Lock in on that thing. Don't look down. I'm looking right at the camera for me. And I'm going to raise my foot up, and I'm going to use that. Sweet. Yeah, shout out to Trendy Star. But I'm locked in here. And then we'll switch legs. Good. And of course, the more advanced you are, the more you can try this. Like I could do this up at the shoulders. Switch legs and draw. I guess I said this class was low energy, but it's not really. Neck hooping up here, shoulder hooping. Now, one thing we're just about to move into actual hoop balancing, and this idea of using your gaze to focus on a point to help anchor it is something we're about to do a lot of in just a second. So it can help to even maybe to change it, like if you have a setting in your room where you can look like, this is me at the staring at the thermostat, this is me staring at the camera, this is me staring at the green screen, whatever. And then we'll just kind of loosen up and just let it flow a minute or two. And then what I like to do, I love Anne had a class where she talked about a giant Maidan stepping from one mountaintop to the other. I like to step and balance. So, nobody's making comments on the sound or the music, so I'm guessing everything is good. Hopefully, that's what that means. Okay, all right, we're going to talk balance now. So, well, first I'll show you a little bit. This is balance. And before you, most of you are familiar with balance, most of you do balance, but if you haven't, I'll go ahead and knock a couple excuses out of the way. It doesn't matter how warped your hoop is, you can still balance it. It might be easier to balance a heavier hoop, but it's also more tiring to balance a heavier hoop. So there's trade-offs. Your hand is not too small, it's not too big. That's balance, okay? You've heard me testify to this before, but balance is hands down, like it took over my hoop practice. It's the reason I got an elliptical because I felt like I wasn't working out hard enough anymore. This was like 10 years ago or something. But it can be super addictive and super fun and super meditative. So I'm gonna give you some pointers here and then let you, we got 30 minutes. I've never had this much time to go over balance before, so here we are. We'll start with different ways of finding balance. Now, this balance is called, well, I pretty much call it sun, right? This is the sun side. And we're gonna practice our Saza. She loved balance. So as, there are definitely no magnets. That's a Gale trick. Totally kidding. So as I am standing getting ready for the balance here, I'm going to do my Saza. I'm going to root both legs into the ground here, okay? And then my arms, just like her great-great-grandmother, they are making an upward, there's an upward energetic motion. If they're not actually going up, there's an upward energetic motion. So my feet push down so that they can lift the hands up there. Nothing's forced, I'm super loose down there, but that's what's happening. And then I'm holding my hands here, pinkies are facing each other, and I'm gonna roll out my hands. And when I roll out my hands, or actually before I roll out my hands, I'm gonna be staring at this North Star point right here. This is the point that I wanna stare at, okay? So if you need to, hold your hoop out or wherever, so you are here. Just like you were doing when we were holding this way, you're gonna grip it, like almost like there's this invisible hand that's coming out of your eyes that's gonna grip that hoop. Don't look at your hands. Don't look at your hands, don't look at your hands, don't look at your hands, okay? Because that split second where you look at your hands and look back up, the hoop will be falling, okay? Not once you get it. Once you have balance, you can look around at all you want in the beginning. So I'm here, and as I'm gonna practice my Saza rooting here, practice my upward push. I'm gonna roll my hands out, right? So I'm gonna roll from the first finger to the pinky. They're gonna roll out, and then I've got my hands nice and wide here. Nice and wide underneath to help me hold the hoop. Remember, I am pushing. Hey, Jenny. My feet are roots. They're reaching down so that I can reach up. Now my eyes are staying on this focal point here. That's so key. I want to keep my eyes on that focal point there. Now some of you may be asking, why are we doing it on the back of the hands? Can we do it on the palms? You definitely can do it on the palms. The reason that I do it on the back of the hands is I think it's harder and I think it looks cooler. I think it definitely looks cooler. But I also liked for me to take my control freakiness away because I have to be more subtle. I have to really feel the balance when it's on the back of my hand. So that's why I do it there. But you could do it in the palms, and I do it on the back of the hand. about Saza the Illuminated is that she believed in resting, but she never believed in coasting. She didn't believe in coasting. And what I mean by that is that when you're in the balance, what very often will make it fall is you starting to coast, like you think you've got it and it's just going to stay there forever. It takes constant energy coming up through the legs, through the hands, into the hoop to make the balance, to make the hoop look still and balanced. Now, I know some of you are black belts and you probably already moved into a lot of different balances, but I'm trying to keep it super entry level right now. And then we are going to talk a little bit more about some of these other ones. As you start to develop the balance, there are little things that you can do to make it more and more sturdy, as Saza said. Sturdy balances. One of them is the height of your hands. There are some people that learn to balance when they roll out their hands. They keep the hoops really low, like their arms are almost extended, and they kind of headbutt the hoop back into balance. Okay? But they can see it right there, and they just lock in on that point because it's right there. There are some people that like more of a medium height, and then there are some people that really like to, they first find their first balance when it's really up high. And so if you can't balance at all, I would try all of these different ones. If you have a super low ceiling, I get it, but I don't, so. I'm gonna make a little bit of a point here. Watch my, if you need a break from balancing, watch my fingers for a second. Do you see how I'm kind of drumming them? That's to show you that it doesn't really matter what fingers hold what, whether it's on this knuckle or that knuckle or any knuckle, because the balance is about in in a split second, there's something between you and the hoop falling, okay? Sweet, good. Yep, sweet. Okay, that's the whole point. So the other thing, these are just some pointers, and I am going to give you some flow time here, but a lot of people like to try to learn the balance with these locked arms like this, and that limits your micro movement. All right, I have no body movement degree. This is just this is a public school coach talking, but it limits your micro movements, right? And so if I break my elbows and break my arms, then you see the difference in my range of motion, this, right, or this, okay? So when I'm here up on these balances, I'll show you a little bit from the side. Instead of doing something like this, right, I'm breaking my elbows, okay? If Saza were watching this right now, she'd be like, breathe, Baxter, breathe. There is a fun little move that we've done before. Let me make sure this isn't too loud. There's a fun little move we've done before which will help you swing up into feeling this balance. Instead of the release and turn, you swing it out. And this is the kind of like it's almost like you're laying out a blanket on a bed or a picnic or something like that if you're underneath it. And I swing out and then drop the hands. It's called the door knocker. I swing out and drop the hands. It ought to be called the picnic blanket, but that's just too southern. Swing it down, back up. Swing it down, and I'm just going to keep my gaze on that top spot all the time. And then I know I've showed you guys this one in the last balance class we did, but for those of you who know how to do this and have been doing them a while, there's a great little circuit that you can teach yourself to really help you find that balance. It's kind of like an Olay type thing, like where you're going to move out of the way. So I'm going to drop, lift the hoop, go up, and then let the hoop swing down, and then back up, and then it's going to swing to the other side, back up, swing to the other side, back up. One thing that can help you is if you think about your hands. Yeah, this is definitely an arm workout. You can take a break in a minute. I'm going to try to squeeze in as much stuff as I can in our last 15 minutes here. Okay, so I do want to make sure I get to more stuff. Of course, this can be done with one hand. Oh, the point that I was making about when you're in two-handed, though, if you're on the corners of the hoop, right? Like if you're at the corners of the hoop and your hands are tilted and pushing towards, right? That can help you grip the hoop. And I think I told you guys about this trick. There is a way you can look through the hoop and you're kind of using your peripheral vision. So I'm still using my gaze, but it's the peripheral part. Because I can look around, I can check out all of my cameras. So I wanted to show you one more technique for getting into a balance. The balance that we're going to try to do is this balance, okay? And this is where the hoop is, my arm and the hoop are, it's too bad I don't have the bird's eye camera going tonight. I'm sorry, that wonky camera is, I forgot to hang the ceiling fan cam. But this type of balance here, do you see where like the hoop and my arm more or less in a line? They don't have to be, but they're, you know, that kind of a balance.
Do you think there's anything?
Sorry, because of my new rig, my housemate can't see me.
What a question.
This is what we call a bow side balance, right? And there's a great way that I used to do this to get into this balance, kind of like the swing balance, but you can roll into this balance. It can be pretty cool, and you'll just roll into it. So I'm going to roll the hoop like in my left hand towards my right hand, vice versa, whatever. And I'm going to roll the hoop up. And I'm just going to roll it right into that balance and stop it there. Now I'm on the back of my hand, but I can keep the hoop. Oh, let's see where we're at. I can keep the hoop between these two fingers here, where they're pressing there. But this is how I roll. I roll towards the hand. But a little bit too much roll. And this is called a bow side balance. This might be more of a class for replay, so you can go back and practice these if you need. But, one big point about this bow side balance is the point that you lock onto will be probably across the hoop instead of up at the North Star. Like if I'm looking like this, I can either look here, I can look anywhere, but most likely I'm going to look here or look here. This is just too close for me. It makes me go cross-eyed and stuff, so I look across. So when I roll up, my eyes are on this point right here. I'm looking across from my hand. So let's say that your arms, you're not used to this, they're starting to get tired on you. What I would do is work some vertical rolling and then roll into a balance, hold it for a second, and then go into another vertical roll. Because what you're really working on with balance is learning it like a microsecond at a time. A second here, a second here, and a second here. Again, we're all at different levels here, but for some of you black belts out there, I can combine what we were doing to start the class with my balance, practice my drawing and my sturdy balance while in a balance. I cannot stress to you enough how important your sight is and how locking in on a point and bringing all of your focus to it really will help you hold it. It's almost like an invisible hand that comes out of your head and holds the hoop there for you. Again, if you get tired, I can just let the hoop roll, and then I push up. Remember Saza's great-great-great-great-great-great-grandmother reaching up and becoming a tree. When you reach up, you push up into balances. This sounds like something that, might not make sense, but essentially I'm holding the hoop with my legs right now. Right? My arms, I know they're sore right now. But as you learn to hold the hoop with your legs, believe it or not, it takes some of the pressure off of your arm. And then, of course, as soon as your arm gets tired, you switch to the other hand because we're going to work on both hands anyway. And sometimes people will say, that they have to keep their arms perfectly straight like this or the hoop's going to hit them in the face. If you're in that situation where it's just a math problem, just go higher, okay? So see if you can keep that bend in your arm no matter what. I'm just going to start shooting some techniques out here and give you some time to play with this stuff. Other ways that you can develop a sturdy balance, however you get the balance, is to try and catch it in the balance. Right? These are called point hops. Remember, point can be standing. So these are point hops. I'm just going to throw the hoop up, hop, right? But I'll show you this is usually where I do the most of them. And I'm catching the hoop in point. Now, it's okay if it starts to get a little bit of a roll, because then I can just hand walk it or something like that. The balance is always, it's never going to be perfect, and that's what's awesome about balance. You're ready to start hand walking, tilt that hand, the hand that we're doing this balance on, tilt it back, the hoop will roll back, and then you'll jump into a second hand. So I'm here, tilt my fingers up, and this hand's going to slip right up under it, and I'm going to do it again. Close-up cam. Here's my close-up cam. It's too close for you guys, sorry. So this is what I'm doing here on this hand walk. Now, we all have different shaped arms, but I'm keeping my hands. Okay, well, whatever, I guess it'll work. See how my hand's kind of picking up here and carrying it underneath. It's picking up and it's carrying it underneath.
It's enough that you nothing else matters.
This is a 2-point position. This is my favorite way to teach people how to hand walk, but nobody likes to do it. But if you can do it, this is me holding the hoop at the corners in double point. I'm going to release this hand, push it back, and then just walk the other hand out there. Right? The whole time, though, I'm focused. My eyes are laser focused on this.
Nothing else matters.
See you soon, Mama.
Yes, please.
6.5. You guys saw it. I think I went 6 minutes. I think I went 6 minutes. No. Actually, I'm fibbing. I think it was more like 4.5 minutes of hand walking. Some of you might have been expecting lo-fi. I usually do bass beats to learn balance, but Saza is just more of this kind of sound. And then this will be the last little point that we'll make. There's a cool feeling that you can teach yourself with your new balance skills of feeling the hoop pivot on your point position, to feel it pivot. And there's a move that we do. It's from 2-point, but it works. It's kind of a combination move of 2-point and balance. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip the hoop. I'm holding the hoop based here, based on this hand, and I'm going to flip it and bring it into 2-point there, right? Remember our 2-point? And so then I'm going to keep the hoop right here. I'm going to keep the hoop here and flip it, right? And it's going to walk, trying to, I'll show you. Oh, I'm not doing it very well. All right, there we go. Yeah, okay, sorry. Actually, I was letting my arms go a little dead. That's honestly what happened. Remember, I push up and reach up towards moon. Now, what that's teaching you is how to start to make folds, point folds. You know, because a fold is anytime it moves across an axis. So I can do point folds. You see that? Let me show you again. Up close version. These are point folds in balance. And my hands are it's like a contact ball kind of thing. My hands are walking underneath. That's if I combine the fold with a hand walk. So it'd be something like this. But developing this sense of touch is really fun. This is the move again if you're not sure. Okay, I'm just going to put some music on, let you guys free hoop or not. If you have to book it, I understand. Just got some more chill sounds pretty much. Oh wait, actually, I think we're going to go ahead and kick it up a notch for our free hoop here. Thank you guys so much for joining me. You can fire away with questions and I'm here. We can come right back on. Just keep in mind there's no real shortcut to balance, and that's kind of what makes it aggravating but makes it so rewarding. And I promise you, if there is such a thing as ADHD, I have it. I think there is, but maybe we all have it. But using balance helped me develop my focus for those times, like getting through airports and finding my Uber or whatever. That, just staying on track. The type of focus that, you develop with this hoop can really help you in moments like that too. And so when I'm getting distracted, when I'm like, oh my God, where's rent coming from, whatever, I just focus. I just say, I'm staring at that point right there, that's it. This is a fold hop. to the very, very large club. No one's posting that they had a breakthrough, so I'm guessing I either lost the audience or I really suck tonight. If you did have a breakthrough, please let me know. Support a brother. I'll try to show you some of the various stuff, and then we'll just call it a night. Watching this on replay tomorrow, there is a higher quality full HD version that's going to be coming about 12 hours after this class finishes. I'm just going to be really good about doing that. You can watch them on your fancy TV. Sweet. Thanks, Jackie. Say, okay, cool. Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys. Sweet, Dorothy. It's good to see you. Boston strong. Yeah, this is a tough class. It's, the Monday classes are going to be a little bit more intermediate, advanced, but I love everybody taking them from whatever your skill level, you're all invited. And then to be totally honest, you guys could teach me something that I find impossible just because I've never tried it. So if you've never tried these things, it can seem extra hard. Thanks, Jenny. Sweet. That's alright. Tiff, you're always here anyway. The replay will be going up on YouTube. Well, a replay of the stream, but the high quality one will be up in about 12 hours. On Thursday, we are going to, by request, we're bringing back the chopstick class. We're bringing the chopstick class back. And you can trade the chopsticks for sashes if you want, but you're going to need 2 chopsticks, drumsticks, not chicken drumsticks, sticks, something. We're going to bring back that class. Be a good, hopefully a successful night for learning shoulder hooping and maybe smoothing out some things. The chopstick class, it's coming back Thursday. It's a fun class.
about the sea. I finally find my feet. Straight a little off course by the hand of man. Faltered by the force to come to where I stand. Wrapped around my ribs, held so steadily. Safe is when I let go and move.
You guys are welcome. I'll post the playlist right now. Sweet. Thanks for the donations, guys. Appreciate it.
My namesake, I wandered aimlessly. I become incarnate for all the world to see. Let my hand be steady where the air is thin. Let the clouds enshroud me as my gaze.
Sweet. Thank you.
Say,
It took forever. Okay, so here it should be. Yeah, that should be hopefully the class playlist, guys. All right, sweet. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight, and we will see you hopefully on Thursday. Sweet. Oh,